Hey everybody, Martin Beaty, head pro Crompton Royton Golf Club, and today we're up in the studio and we're going to have a first look, a first test at the brand new Taylormade M3 and M4 drivers. We've got the full range of the new kit available here. We've got the hybrids, we've got the fairway woods and also the irons. So look out for the reviews on those products coming shortly. But for now, let's get stuck into the drivers. Now all today's testing is being done using Foresight Sports GC Quad and the Taylomade TP5X ball. Okay, let's kick off with the M3. You can definitely tell it's part of the Taylomade family. As for the M1 before, it's got a lot of carbon in the sole and in the crown in the top section here, which definitely makes the club feel lighter when we're swinging it. One of my criticisms of the M1, it just felt a little bit too heavy for a standard product, as opposed to the old M2. I felt more comfortable with that because I can get it through the back of the ball easier. Now this M3 feels a little bit more like the M2 of the past when you're swinging it. I think that's because of the carbon in the head again. There's definitely some technological changes that they've made as opposed to the old T-track that you had on the M1. We've now got the Y-track system that you see there, which enables full adjustability across the sole. You can move the weights again. There's two weights that we get that you can move all around the sole and set according to what shape of shot you want. Again, you can pull the weights right back into the Y here, be more forgiving and get the ball launching higher, and then again less spin, more forward, and again Y track there makes you shape it, fade or draw. The big selling point from this one is it's got the twist face technology, which is slight bend in the face as opposed to a standard bulgy face on a driver. This one has been pulled back 0.75 degrees in the toe and 0.75 in the heel. Now this Taylormade says produces longer, straighter distance off the tee. Okay, so they're focusing more on off-centre hits, people who hit the ball low off the heel and high off the toe. They're saying that the dispersion is reduced because of this twist face technology. Now this is exactly what we're here to test today. As far as looks go, this is the 460 model. It also comes in the slightly smaller 440. I prefer the 460 for a little bit more forgiveness, but those who hit the middle all the time consistently will probably get more benefit from the 440. Looks pretty good behind the ball. They've gone for the silver option now instead of the white drivers, which Taylormade are famed for, and it doesn't look too bad. It looks nice and slick, nice and tidy. All that's left now is for us to give it a test. Interesting dual strikes here. Now the M4 is the semi-adjustable option of this year's range. It's got many features left over from the M2, like the geo-acoustic sole. It's got loads of carbon in the bottom, which produces a more solid sound really, and which then directly relates to feel. You can adjust the loft up and down 2 degrees using the standard loft sleeve, and again it's got the hammerhead technology just behind the face there, which produces more ball speed off-centre hits. The looks again, nice and tidy behind the ball. There's a little bit of a ridge there in the toe end, which you can't really see when it's down on the floor, but you can obviously when you're looking closer, but this gives it a little bit more aerodynamic effect and increases the speed through the ball. Again, the twist face technology, just like the M3, toe pull back, 0.75 degrees, heel pull back 0.75, which will give you, Taylormade says, longer, straighter distance. Right, well, that's come out straight as. let's wrap up these results from the indoor testing, or some call it dry bow data. So M3 first up, it's obviously the longer driver of the two. I've hit one there, 272. It was a little pull, that one, but it seems to have got me the best distance out of both drivers, which is what the majority of people look for when purchasing a new one. So M3 was longer for me. That was the most adjustable option of the two. I had the weights a little bit further forward in the sole, which made the spin come down a little bit lower, and it actually felt not as good, to be honest, further forward. Generally, the further back you have the weights, the more forgiving the golf club is, and it feels a little bit more user-friendly off the face. But it felt a little bit harder with the weights forward, but it did give me the best numbers when it comes to distance. Without getting wrapped up too much in numbers, the spin, it's negligible. You know, we've got 2.9 versus 3.3. I'm not getting too bothered about spin numbers. The launch with the M4 was a little low for my liking. They're both 9.5 heads, remember. So if I was going for the M4, I'd look at getting maybe a 10.5 and maybe looking at lofting it up on the loft sleeve, which will help my launch get up there, hopefully give me some better distance. But the main thing of this test, as I found out, is before you get to twist face, before you get to launch and spin and all that numbers, it's this. Strike is key at golf, and if you can strike the golf ball right out the middle of the face, that's going to give you the best numbers, fact. So the main finding from this test is that I need, first of all, a shaft that's a little bit shorter, which will enable me to position the ball in the middle of the face. Okay, now that's the indoor testing. Let's go and test it on the golf course. Out on the 10th hole, real-time environment, absolutely brass here at Crompton this morning. I'm going to kick off with 9.5 M4 as of the testing inside. We keep the same heads, kick off for the M4 this time and just see how it performs in a real-time environment. As I said inside, it's alright getting a load of spin numbers and launch angles and doing a load of indoor testing, but at the end of the day you've got to make sure that you can game it on the golf course, and this is why testing outside is so important. You've got to make sure it looks good for one, behind the ball, and two, you're able to game it around your course of choice. So this is what this is about. Quad say there, 248 carry into a draft. Make sure I get that one in there. And that one came a little bit high toey. The idea again is to try and get it more out the middle. Again, more central strikes will give us a lot better performance, regardless of spin and launch. That one was good. 258 carry. Feels quite user friendly. M4 gave us an average of 250 carry. Again, I felt quite easy with it behind the ball. It looked pretty good, and I felt like I could easily shape it which way I wanted to do. Now, let's test the M3. Same as before, same as in the studio. 9.5 with the same weight distribution. Felt alright, didn't fly as far as the M4. 10.6 launch. Up on that a bit more. 249 carry, 14.1 launch. Again, not a right lot in these two drivers so far. I think the M4 for me is definitely the more forgiving option. Must be because of the way I've got the weight set more forward in the M3, increasing, you know, a lower launch and lower spin. Taylormade do say that the further you've got it back in the Y track, the more forgiving it can be. So that's maybe the next test. But at the minute, M4 is winning for me. Alright, I've just pulled the weight tracks back in the M3 just to see if I can get any better sort of carry distance with it. The weight forwards, it was coming out a bit low. I'm going to try and improve the carry distance, especially on the courses that we play on, especially in the north of England where carry distance is key. Everything's quite wet and mushy. Central northern England, you need as much carry off the tee as you possibly can. And it does, 254. So I've actually made that driver more forgiving, in the more forgiving setting, pulling the weights further back, and it's performed better for me, my swing speed. And I actually tried to get it, I think I'm getting it a little bit more middle. What do you think? Strike is key. Now trying to improve the numbers on the M4. Say it's semi-adjustable this, so I've just upped the loft on the loft sleeve here, so instead of playing 9.5 I'm now second notch up, which is playing about 10.75, something like that. A little bit low on the club face, being up in the wind, yeah, it's gone nowhere. I think that was definitely more strike than anything else. Centered strikes are key. Both clubs performing identical numbers carry distance. Yeah, they might spin it and launch it a little bit differently, but within the parameters and the settings of the golf club, I've managed to dial in both versions to suit me. I'm more of a feel player. I like the look of both clubs behind the ball. I think feel and the ability to game the ball around your course is key. And don't forget this, strike's everything at golf.